This is the brand new Mavic Air 3, the latest glittering gem in the crown of DJI's ever-growing drone empire. For the past month, I've been whipping this bad boy through the desert, the coastline, the mountains, and really putting it through its paces to let you know if it's worth an upgrade. I'm not exaggerating when I say it's breathtakingly close to the perfect drone, except for one main problem. Let's get into it. By the way, this video is not sponsored in any way. DJI actually didn't even send me this drone. They sent it to my buddy Andrew, and we were on a trip, and I asked them if I was able to review it while he was working on a project for them. The Mavic Air is like the marathon runner of drones with an eye-popping 46 minutes of flight time. Yes, 46 minutes. This is a major leap from the 31-minute flight time of its predecessor, the Air 2S, and actually 3 minutes better than the Mavic 3 Pro. Now, rating it for 46 minutes doesn't necessarily mean you'll always get 46 minutes of flight time. But from my experience out in the field, even in some pretty windy conditions, it performed very admirably. At one point while flying next to a buddy of mine who was rocking a Mini 3 Pro, he had to land and swap batteries not once, but twice before I needed to bring the Air 3 down for a battery swap. This expanded flight time is a huge help, especially when you're chasing that really good light from like golden hour to sunset. You can throw all your sort of like launch time calculations out the window and just know that you'll be able to stay in the air for plenty of time without any battery anxiety. The image quality on the Mavic Air 3 is a Picasso masterpiece as far as drones are concerned. This is primarily thanks to the upgraded 1 and 1.3 inch sensor, so like 20% smaller than a 1-inch sensor. Sure, it's still David to the Mavic 3 and the Mavic 3 Pro's Goliath in terms of sensor size, but it still holds its own in many scenarios, including in low light performance. That said, you still do want to keep your ISO as low as possible for optimal results, but you can shoot well into blue hour with this thing with no issues. On the photo side of things, the Air 3 is rocking a 48 megapixel sensor for stills on both RAW and JPEG. The stills are gorgeous and a breeze to edit with, and sort of makes you feel like you're almost editing on a mirrorless camera. Almost. I mean, you can still sell it as a drone, but it's a good drone. On the video side, the drone records 4K 10-bit at 24 frames, 30 frames, 60 frames, 100 frames, and offers D-Log in all of those recording modes. Now, the footage looks spectacular, but I have noticed a propensity towards some slight over sharpness and a dash too much red in some of the warmer tones that will take some massaging in post. This has sort of always been the case with drone footage though, so you're probably used to it if you've graded drone footage in the past. Just be aware that still does exist. The dynamic range on this is much improved from its predecessors as well, but be cautious when pointing it directly into the sun. I mean, it's still a drone, still a 1-inch sensor, or less than 1-inch sensor, and it's not Superman. But if you want to feel like Superman, studies show that subscribing to this channel will make you impervious to kryptonite. And like, you should do that, obviously. Okay, so the dual camera system is where the Mavic Air 3 truly earns its stripes. It's equipped with the good old 1x camera, a 24mm equivalent that we've all kind of come to expect as the most common field of view on Mavic drones. Honestly, this field of view has become a little bit boring. It used to be that all drone shots were amazing, how'd you get that? Now they're all kind of just whatever. You sort of see it and you know that, oh yeah, this was shot on a drone. Well, with the Air 3, you also get the 3x camera, which is a 70mm equivalent. Another great thing is that both cameras boast the same image quality and settings, so you're not sacrificing picture profiles, you're not sacrificing frame rates, all for the sake of that extra range. Just note that the 1x is an f1.7 and then the 3x is a f2.8. Having that 70mm field of view completely changes your composition. You're able to compress scenes, making them feel much larger than life. You can achieve Hollywood-level parallax, where you have the background flying past the subject and the foreground kind of like staying nice and still. And now you're also able to capture loads of image safely without flying into no-fly situations. I did a ton of tests flying the 1x and then the same exact shot with the 3x, and I really loved seeing the difference in results, and you can see why that 3x becomes really, really compelling for awesome shots, great storytelling. I think that this is what the Mavic 3 and the Mavic 3 Cine were supposed to be. Their second lens is a 7x, however, which in my humble opinion is about as useful as like a chocolate teapot. The image quality on those zooms leaves a lot to be desired, and for a while you could only shoot JPEG in the stills mode, and I think you still don't have D-Log in the video mode. Even with a lot of firmware updates, it's almost unusable in any serious production. But with this Air 3, it makes up for all of that, which I think makes it very compelling. Regrettably, however, despite making an appearance in the Mini 3 Pro, vertical shooting is sort of still missing in action on the Air 3. They are not rotating that nice larger sensor just yet. They have, however, introduced a crafty little vertical crop mode that crops the image to, I think, 2.7K to sort of help you frame things. Now, this is pretty much the same as cropping in post, so I'd personally probably recommend filming normally and then using the on-screen grids to sort of like just frame things in the center. But hey, it's nice to have a decent option if you're in a pinch and you need to deliver vertical content for all of us social media addicted like junkies out there. The Air 3 also boasts all of the fun, intelligent flight features that we've come to expect from Mavic drones as well. There's sensors galore to make sure you're not crashing into stuff. There's the active track modes and the quick shots. Now, personally, aside from the crash sensors, I only find like the spotlight tracking to be useful when kind of tracking vehicles. But I know a lot of folks really do like this stuff, so it is good to know that it's also in there. Now, for all this dazzle, the Mavic Air 3 still has one glaring Achilles heel: aperture control. Aperture is crucial for managing exposure, particularly in video mode when your shutter speed should be locked. But the Air 3 is stuck with the fixed aperture of f1.7 on the 1x and f2.8 on the 3x lens. Of course, you can use ND filters and they're included in the Fly More combo, but with changing light conditions, which is basically always, you'll find yourself grappling with shutter speed more often than you want. There were instances where the light gods were not in our favor and we had to break the 180-degree rule for shutter. Now, if I'm being honest, I think that folks freak out about the 180-degree rule a little bit too much given how much content is produced for social media. And when it comes to drones, it's really hard to discern motion blur when you're that far away from any of the stuff that's moving. However, once you start getting close, or if you're using that 3x zoom, those shutter speed jitters do become much more noticeable. Now, I know this is going to be a deal breaker for a lot of folks, especially those who've used drones with aperture control in the past. But for the price, it might be worth giving it up. And on that note, let's talk about the price. The Mavic Air 3 starts at a very wallet-friendly price tag of just $1,099. Or if you want the Fly More combo, you're looking at $1,349 with the controller that requires the phone, and then $1,549 for the combo that includes the RC controller with the built-in screen, which has received an upgrade for the Air 3. So at that price tag, that's basically half the cost of the Mavic 3 Pro. That price is incredibly compelling. Now, if you're comparing it to the Mavic 3 Pro, you're basically paying double for roughly the same flight time, actually 3 minutes less on the Pro, controllable aperture, and then that third 7x zoom lens. Personally, I don't think that 7x zoom is all that necessary. The 3x is preferred to me in almost all scenarios. So you basically need to ask yourself, is double the price worth it for the adjustable aperture? Now it's kind of hard to stomach, right? The Air 3, in my opinion, has rendered the Mavic 3, the one with the dual lens, virtually obsolete. The Mavic 3's second lens leaves so much to be desired, which I've already kind of talked about, that you might as well end up getting the Mavic 3 Classic. But there you're looking at like $2,400 for the Fly More combo, and like there you get aperture control, but only one lens. So then you need to ask yourself, is not 3x zoom, but aperture control worth an additional $1,000? I don't know. I don't think so. And then if you're deciding which of the Air 3's packages is right for you, I'd probably recommend the Fly More with the RC2. So like the one that has the screen built in. You're definitely going to want more batteries anyways, and I think the added benefit of having that dedicated screen is worth the extra $200 investment if you can afford it. All in all, I am super impressed that DJI continues to raise the bar by continually jamming incredible specs, image quality, and new lenses into a flying machine that you can toss a bag and take anywhere that the FAA allows. In my opinion, for the price point, if you can get past the aperture sized downside, this drone is pretty sick. And you know what else is sick? This video. So why don't you play thumb with the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and watch that video next. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.